The big battery Husky 2 is sold and marketed as a golf cart battery, but this thing is so much more. Initially, I was really put off by the look of this battery, but after we've had some time to play with it and be hands-on with it, I actually am really excited to share it with you guys. This thing is suitable for a ton of different use cases outside of just golf carts. If you're into RVing, boating, you have a cabin in the woods, you're outdoorsy at all, you're probably gonna love this thing. As always though, there is some things that we don't like about the Husky 2 battery, and you guys know here at the lab, our opinions cannot be bought. So before we jump into those things that we don't like and the results of some of our tests, we're gonna hit you guys with a super quick 2-minute teardown for anyone that is not already familiar with the 48 volt big battery Husky 2 golf cart battery. First up, this thing passes the tiny baby lift test. It weighs 100 pounds, although it is really deep, so it's a little bit awkward to pick up. It does come with 2 nice handles right here. The unfortunate part is tiny baby can't golf. He can barely hit a ball 50 yards. This is a 51.2 volt battery, so it falls into the 48 volt category, and it is 100 amp hours, so it's a 5,120 watt hour battery bank. This one is actually able to discharge continuously at 150 amps. So you can basically pull 7,600 watts out of this unit without the BMS tripping inside of it. And you can actually run up to 16 of these little Lego blocks together to get a total battery bank storage capacity of 81.9 kilowatts. It's a lithium iron phosphate battery, and it advertises 5,000 cycles at 80% depth of discharge. However, it also advertises it at like 0.5 degrees Celsius. So it's probably on par with all the other batteries that advertise 7,000 cycles at 80%, 5,000 at 100%. It's made of some sort of composite. It's not metal. It has your 2 watertight ports right here. These are your communication ports. You can unscrew this, plug something in. You have your power button. There is no screen and there is no breaker on this at all. And all of these screw holes, as you will see later, are actually like modular attachment holders. So you can unbolt this stuff, move it all around. You can put this handle upside down right here, bolt it to the table, bolt it to the back of your boat. Definitely a lot of versatility coming out of this little battery. And while we're on the fact of design, this is actually an IP65 rated casing. It does have vents right here on the top. So obviously this isn't submersible, hence the IP65. And this battery retails for $19.99, which, yes, is more expensive than a lot of other competitors' batteries. Lucky for you guys, we have a code to save you 10%. It is SolarLab10. Save you 10% on a nice big battery. When it comes to testing, something that really stands out if you do any research on this battery is that it is meant to be used in a colder climate, which is kind of cool because we live in one, and that is a test that we like to put our batteries through. So this thing's actually rated to charge and discharge at up to -20 degrees Celsius. It's not the best for the lithium cells to be cold and be used while they're cold. However, this one does say right here that it has some sort of heating functionality. So we actually threw it in the deep freezer for a full day and let it get down to -24 degrees-ish. And with that, I went and hooked it up to a charger. When you first turn it on, it actually didn't throw an alarm code, which was surprising, and I was scared it was still gonna work. But when you go ahead and hook the charger up to it, it just instantly switches over, says protecting, the code comes up, and it shows on the app that it's not doing anything, which is good because that means it is protecting the cells. And same thing, I went ahead and I plugged our SunGold inverter into this thing, and as soon as I turned on the load, I was like, oh, it's gonna work, because it worked for probably 10 seconds, and then it shut off and it never came back. I restarted it a couple times and it just went into full protection mode, which is good. And the next test we put this thing through was an overdraw test. So this is actually rated to run at 150 amps. So we ran a 170 amp load on this battery, which is pretty much 8,700 watts. And we were able to run that load off this battery for about 30 seconds before it killed the power, which is actually pretty impressive. 30 seconds is still pretty good for a 100 amp hour battery to be running 170 amps. And when it comes to efficiency, we ran a 100 amp hour load on this, and it ran for about an hour, as it's supposed to. Good job. Most batteries are about 100% efficient. It's the inverter and everything else that eats all your power out. But this is rated for 150 amps. So we ran like 113 amp hour load just to see what happens when you start creeping up. And that lasted, it should have lasted about 53 minutes, and that one lasted 49 minutes and 45 seconds. So even over the 100 amp hours, this thing was still about 94% efficient, which is pretty good. Otherwise, not too much testing. This unit doesn't have a breaker. This unit doesn't have the screen or anything. It's a pretty simple little battery. Jumping into some things that we don't like. There is no screen or breaker. I think I'm just used to having a breaker. It makes me feel good to know that it's off or on. So that's just something to know. It doesn't have a breaker. And I don't like that there's no screen. They have an app, which is great. I use the app only because that's my only option. When you buy this, you can get it in a kit with like a little gauge that's meant to be in your boat, your RV, your golf cart. It tells you what the battery's at. I just think it'd be cool to be able to look at it at a quick glance, know what's going on, and not have to whip out your phone and go on the app and do all that. Speaking of the app is that racist? It's not racist, it's a fact. The app is very Chinese. And it's true, dude, it's true. What does the pop-up say right now? I don't know. I don't know what button to click. I didn't know what to do, dude. I don't know what's going on. I closed the app. I'm like, that might not be the right app. And then I look and it is the right app. I used another phone to translate. What does that mean? And it says, you know, your Bluetooth's off, but it works great. And once you're logged in and your Bluetooth is on, dude, it's actually not a bad app. But if you don't have your Bluetooth on, or who knows what else, it could be a little difficult for the initial setup process. Something that I don't like is that this is just not as ideal for a big setup. You can pair this up to like 82 kilowatts or something is what we were saying, but they don't stack and organize as well as like a server rack system would, where you just slide it into your rack, you have your bus bars and you're done. But you can do it, and in the right application, it might make sense. However, when it comes to the things we like about the Husky 2, kind of just null and voids all the things we don't like. It's a pretty good list. The first thing that just stands out with this, and the reason why I think it is applicable to so many people, and so many people should be buying this instead of other options for any kind of mobile, which would be like an RV, a trailer, a boat, overlanding. This in the back of my Jeep would even just be unreal, is the fact that all these little pieces right here are metal, and they unscrew and they bolt to anywhere. So you could take this handle, you could flip it upside down, bolt it to the bottom, and bolt that to the floor of my Jeep. And now you just have a battery bolted to the floor. It's not going anywhere. You could put two of them side by side and bolt them together with a plate. You could stack them on each other and bolt them together. There's a million different things you could do with the fact that this has all these screw holes, and it comes with 2 angle brackets and 2 flat plates on each battery. So just that alone, and like the practicality of what you could do with that, is really, really cool. And to go with that, I really like that it's weather rated. Like I said, it has the vents, so it's not submersible, but IP65, it's pretty good. It's meant to live inside of a golf cart. Even in your boat, if you have this somewhere where it's not tucked up in the front, it's exposed, that's fine. You're hitting waves, water's coming in, should be fine. As long as you don't sink the boat, which I think the last one of your worries when you're sinking a boat would be the battery, then you're good. I also like, keeping on this trend of like, if you're outdoorsy, this kind of suits your needs, is it's rated to charge and discharge at -20°C, where a lot of other batteries are only rated to discharge, but they won't take a charge. So you can't actually use the system if it's too cold. We also really just like all of the stuff that this unit comes with. Aside from coming with all of the wires, which most batteries actually don't all come with wires. This came with long and short wires. It also came with big terminal connectors, so you can go ahead and kind of shove that over top, and then your wiring runs out through there. That's cool, but what I really like is it came with these little clip rope things. It came with 2 of these. And I initially thought this would be something that, you know, you like put through the handle and you like strap this somewhere on your golf cart to make sure it doesn't accidentally fly out if the screws to the floor break. This is meant, or at least this is why they give it to you, to be clipped into the handle like this, and then you can pick this up like a handle to give you leverage so that you don't have to bend super low if you're trying to put it like down into a golf cart. You can grab one, someone else can grab one on the other side.
Very thoughtful.
Very thoughtful and unnecessary. This is expensive. This isn't a cheap rope. And the last thing that I actually really like about the Husky 2 has less to do with the battery and more to do with the company, Big Battery. We actually got this in a kit with an inverter, and we were having a really hard time setting it up. And I was trying to get some help. And I called them. Both times they answered like right away, which most companies don't do. You sit on hold for like an hour. They understood what I wanted. They gave me feedback really quickly, like they just knew what they were talking about. We've been doing some digging around lately of companies and calling them and doing like mystery shops. Big Battery wasn't on the list of companies we did that with, but just us calling twice to try to figure something else out got me really impressed by the service that they do offer. Pretty much I think that the Husky 2 is a really slept on battery. I think that a lot more people doing just outdoorsy stuff, cabins, RVs, boats, campers, I think more people should be using a battery like this instead of some of the other batteries that they're out there using. So I don't know, I was pretty impressed. If you guys want to check this thing out, we will leave some links in the description down below. Make sure you guys use the code SolarLab10 if you end up scooping a big battery and save yourself 10%. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out and stay charged.